Sit up right again. Sit up where you're going to be. Oh, hey, we even going to get... There's a part of it where it is, where it's alien, and you're like, is it slut or is it shit? Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. Alien shit.
Hello, Champagne Dreamers. Welcome back to my channel. I'm your girl, Miss Jaye, the trash queen of glam, geek, and gore. And for today's video, I have a tag video that's been knocking around in my brain for a long time. And that is the makeup collection tag. Now, this was inspired by Nerdy Girl Makeup, who hasn't put out a video in like 2 years. And it was originally created by Georgia Harris, who now is on like a minimalism journey. And so this is way back. This is from in the archives. But I just have had this in my notes for a long time. I like the questions. I think it's fun to talk about makeup collections and the kind of makeup that we love, the kind of makeup we want to buy, the stuff we don't want to buy, how we feel about our makeup collections. So we're going to do that. And so if you're excited to be a part of this with us, I don't know. So if you're excited to watch this makeup collection tag, go ahead and stick around because we're getting into it right now. So question number one is, how long have you been collecting makeup? And for me, it's been forever. I have always loved makeup and drama and acting and things like that. And so as a kid, I loved Halloween, and I would always keep my Halloween masks and any little costume pieces that I had gotten, little toy props, things like that. And I just started accumulating a costume box and just got more and more into it. And then, of course, in school, we started to do school plays and things. And I really just loved drama and acting and creating different characters and different looks. And when I was in school, there was a book in our library that was called Costumes and Makeup. And it had little projects that you could do to create costume pieces or props. And it was all about how to do these very simple things that could create fun props and costumes for your stage productions. There were addresses in the back for different makeup companies. And so I decided to write to Ben Nye Cosmetics. And I told them that I was like a 3rd grader or 4th grader, however old I was, and that I had found this book and it had their information in the back. And it said that they sometimes send out samples. And so I said, do you have any samples that you could send? And Ben Nye actually sent out a small student makeup kit, which I thought was so cool. It had 4 or 5 of the little color wheels of the cream foundations. It had a little stippling sponge and some fake blood and a little hank of hair that you could comb out to create like a mustache. It was so much fun, and I absolutely loved it. So that was one of my earliest kind of makeup memories, is when Ben Nye helped point me on the path to becoming the attention-seeking monster that I am today. Question number 2 is, what kind of makeup collection do you have?
Never ending.
Minimal, utilitarian, following a certain aesthetic, historic, etc. My collection is out of control. I have makeup in 2 different locations. I've talked about this before. I have makeup that I keep here. This is my office that I rent for my big kid job as well as for doing filming. And I also have makeup at home, which tends to be the makeup that I use for shows and photo shoots and things like that. So I actually keep makeup in 2 different locations. I have a lot of makeup. I buy a lot of makeup. I'm a monster. I have lots of colorful, lots of fun makeup. I have lots of indie makeup. I tend to follow a lot of indie brands, and that kind of is the direction that my collection has gone. But definitely bright colors. I've gotten into a few kind of more neutral, a little bit more subdued kind of products, but usually if it's colorful, if it's wild, if it's glittery, it's probably in my collection. Question number 3 is, are you a completionist? And I would say, sometimes, not very often. Most of the time I can resist the urge and I just buy the products that I'm interested in. There are a few things that I get that weird completionist urge for. The Lime Crime Venus palettes. I don't know why, but I had to have every one of those damn Lime Crime Venus palettes. I have every one of the regular size. I have both of the Excel. I have even those 2 that weren't Venus palettes, but they were the like Prelude palettes that they did.
Girl, we know what you're doing.
And I have all of the little extra small palettes, the one that have 4 shades that came out for holiday 2 years in a row. I have all of the Venus palettes. It's ridiculous. But most of the time, I can resist it. Unless I like everything in a certain series of makeup, I usually can keep away from buying all of them. Now, having said that, I do love a good bundle deal. So even if there's a couple things in a bundle that I'm not super interested in, if it's a good deal, I'll probably just buy it, and then I either end up decluttering it or gifting the other things, or I'll just keep them in, because you never know when you're going to want something a little bit different, a little bit off the beaten track for your makeup that day. Question number 4 is, how do you store or organize your collection? Now, I did fall a little bit into the trap of getting the Alex drawers that every basic Becky YouTuber in the world has, and they aren't terrible. They're heavy as fuck, and I find them a little bit clunky for storing palettes, although to be honest, I haven't really found a great option for storing palettes, especially big or oddly shaped palettes. But I do have one of the small 5-drawer Alex chests from IKEA. One thing that I've found that I really like, I get them at Michael's, and I have 3 of them. I have 2 of them at home, and I have 1 of them here in the office, and they are these craft storage from Michael's that are like 8 drawers, and they're rainbow colored. They're really fun and beautiful. And they have pretty good sized drawers. So at some point I am planning on doing an office tour to show off the space where I film. And I am also planning to do a declutter, so you'll get to see a little bit more of all the products that I have here in my office. But here is one of the drawers from my craft storage that I pick up at Michael's. 8 drawers. And again, these are just available at Michael's. They're usually on sale. They have sales fairly often. And they're a little bit pricey at regular price. I would never buy one at regular price, but when you can get them on sale, they're a pretty good deal. This is my blush drawer, which is out of control, and it has a few highlighters that have migrated in from the highlighter drawer. But these are really good for storing small items. The drawer size is a pretty good size for things like blushes, for foundations, concealers, all that kind of thing. The only thing that it's not great for is eyeshadow palettes, but again, I still haven't found anything that I really like for eyeshadow palettes. God, that's heavy. Ugh. I don't like it. Question number 5 is, what is your favorite thing about your collection? And that would absolutely have to be how much color I've accumulated. I love that at any given day, if I want to do a full monochromatic look for pretty much any color, I can. Any of the basic like Roy G. Biv colors for sure, but I could do an all peach look if I wanted to. I could do an all chartreuse look. So I have a ton of color. I have a lot of colorful fun makeup. I have a lot of indie brands. I love that about my collection. So I love that I just am able to play and be as colorful and wild and vivid as I want, and that I very rarely find myself thinking, oh, I just wish I had a product that did this. I can usually find some sort of version of whatever color, of whatever formulation I want somewhere in my collection. Titty hair. Question number 6 is, what is your least favorite thing about your collection?
That I always want more.
I do sometimes feel like I spend too much money on makeup. Again, I'm in a much better place than I was when I was younger, when I was just starting out as a drag queen. There were certainly times where I ate a whole lot of dollar store spaghetti so I could pay for makeup, and sometimes the electricity bill was late because I was buying makeup. I am not in that place anymore. I absolutely am working a big kid job where I can pay for the makeup that I buy. I'm not putting myself in any danger by spending the money on it. So I do love it, and it's so fun and it's playful, but every once in a while I'm like,
girl, you could pull back. Really, pull back.
And so that's the only thing, but it's not anything that's super serious. I don't feel distressed about it. I don't stay up at night thinking about it. There's just times where I'm like,
girl, did you really need to buy all that makeup?
Speaking of, if you haven't watched my video where I talked about all the shopping that I did over the Thanksgiving weekend this year, I'll link that up in the cards, and then you'll see why I said that. Question number 7 is, what is the biggest category? What is the question? I don't even know. Question number 7 is, what is the biggest category in your collection? Now, by sheer numbers, it's definitely eyeshadow palettes. I love a good eyeshadow palette. And that's something that really is from the last maybe like 6 years or so. I used to always have a shit ton of lip products. I had a few kind of eyeshadow palettes that were my go-tos that I used for every show, every photo shoot, and then I just would buy lip products. That was my like, I'm gonna treat myself gift. If I was having a bad day or if I was celebrating something, it was so easy to just go buy a drugstore lipstick or an expensive lipstick. either way, you never spent as much as you often do with an eyeshadow palette. So I used to have tons and tons of lip products, but not anymore. Now it's eyeshadow palettes are the biggest category in my collection just by sheer numbers. But in terms of saturation, I would have to say highlighters. I have a ton of highlighters. I love highlighters, but the sheer numbers don't work out because there's only so many colors of highlight that you can make, right? With eyeshadow palettes, you can make all these different combinations, and you can have light tones and dark tones and medium tones and all these kinds of shades. With highlighters, they're always meant to be sort of brightening. And at some point, even a monster like me is like, how many pale icy pink highlighters do you need?
Spoiler alert, the answer is 37.
And so I just have so many highlighters. I love them. They're one of my favorite things to shop for recently. They've been one of my favorite things. And I've really been upping my blush collection as well. I did talk about this in a recent video. I'm going to go ahead and link that up in the cards, but I did the blush tag talking all about my blush collection and my blush journey. And so that is definitely growing within my collection as well.
What? Yeah.
What is the smallest category within your collection? That's an easy answer. Eyebrow products. I shave off my brows. This bitch is committed to the cause. I have shaved off my eyebrows. I wear big, chunky framed glasses. Nobody can tell. If they can tell, they just think that I had some weird disease or alopecia or some shit. Like, they don't care. They don't ask questions. I just shave off my brows. I don't have time to be doing that glue stick and powder and spoolie nonsense. It's nonsense and shenanigans. I call shenanigans. So I just don't do it. I just shave them off. I don't care. I don't miss them. Bye. I don't miss you at all. I don't know why that turned into a monologue to my eyebrow products. All I really need for a brow is one good brown pencil. Now, I love to do, as you can kind of see with this look, I love a colorful brow, and I just use eyeshadow palettes for that. So I usually will draw out a brow with a brown or a black pencil, and then I just cover it in shadow. The shadow helps set the pencil anyway, and then I can do colorful brows, I can do ombre brows. I'm all about it. So then I guess you could say that since I use eyeshadow palettes, and eyeshadow palettes are the biggest category in my collection, maybe eyebrow products are the biggest category in my collection. Question number 9 is, do you have a holy grail product in your collection? I have a few, I think. I have a few that are really my go-tos, my go-to foundations. I love the Urban Decay All-Nighter and the Oma Beauty Say What Foundation. Those, to me, are holy grail products. I love them. They are my 2 top foundations. I have a lot of other foundations, and I have a lot of other foundations that I like. But those 2, if I was in a fix and I needed to, like, let's say I was going for a show, and for whatever reasons I forgot my entire makeup case, that's what I would buy. I would buy All-Nighter, or I would buy the Oma Beauty, whichever I could get my hands on. I love them. Glamlight shadows, I think, are absolutely a holy grail for colorful looks. I think that they are amazing. But I have a lot of good products, but I don't know that there's any... I mean, I said I have a lot, but now I'm like, well, I don't know if there's any that I'm just like, I couldn't live without that. I have a lot of good products. I think those foundations are the ones. You gotta have a good base, and that's what I would say. That was awkward. I'm sorry. It gets weird around here. Question number 10. Do you wish your collection... Let me sound out all the words. Question number 10. Do you wish your collection was bigger, smaller, or does it feel complete? Here's where you can start to see Georgia Harris, who is the creator of this tag, starting to, like, in her mind, she's starting to work through the, like, maybe I have a shopping problem and maybe I need to be a little bit more of a minimalist. And I would say that I still want to be able to shop and enjoy makeup, but I wish my collection felt a little bit more complete. I don't necessarily wish that it was smaller. We're going to talk about declutters in a future question, but I do declutter products from time to time. There are some that I hold on to probably for too long. And I recognize that my collection is big, but it doesn't feel too big. And it isn't the kind of collection where I feel like I wish it was smaller. So I just wish that sometimes I was able to curb that shopping impulse a little bit easier than I am, but I'm not distressed about the size of my collection. I think it's pretty good. I think that for what I do, I absolutely have more makeup than I need for the amount of days that I wear makeup in a given month, given year, all that sort of thing. But I like my collection. I like the things that I can play with. So some days I just wish that I felt a little bit more complete and I didn't get as sucked into new releases as I do. Because I am a sucker. They can see me coming. Question number 11 is, how often do you declutter your makeup? So I would say not often. I probably do like one big declutter every year where I go through everything and I pull stuff out. Now, I'm pretty good about, if something has gone bad, I just throw it out. I do like to do a declutter, and a lot of times I'll do my declutters on Facebook Live. You can let me know down in the comments if you're interested in seeing declutter videos on my channel, because I recently decluttered all of the makeup that's at my home, but I haven't decluttered here in the office, and that's the next project. So if you'd like to see videos of me decluttering my office makeup, definitely let me know down below. So I definitely declutter about once a year, year and a half, and it's a big declutter where I go through everything. It's not always super savage, so don't expect that, but I do a pretty good job of getting rid of things that really just need to go, and especially things that have clearly gone bad, I'm able to let go of that stuff. Question number 12 is, do you ever get envious seeing other people's collections? I don't. I don't really have FOMO. I don't really get envious seeing other people's collections. I just, every once in a while, there'll be something in somebody's collection that I'm like, I want to play with that. Like, I want to play with that. It doesn't mean that I want it. It just means that I'm like, oh, I didn't buy that. I kind of want to swatch it. Like, I wish that my YouTube, like, the screen was like I could just swatch it from the screen. Because sometimes I just want to play with something and swatch it and try it, but it doesn't mean that I feel any desire to own it or have it in my home. So sometimes when I see it in somebody's collection, I'm like, you gonna swatch that? Are you gonna swatch that? And I just want to see them play with it and, like, have a chance to play with it. But I don't really get envious. Every once in a while, if there's something that was, like, a limited release and I missed it, for the longest time, the one thing I've ever really, like, had strong FOMO about for years was the KVD Mi Vida Loca palette. When that was in everybody's collection videos, I was so mad because I had the opportunity to buy it. I held it in my hands multiple times, and multiple times on trips where I bought other things of equal or greater value. So I could have bought it. It's not like I was broke. It's not like it was sold out. It was in my hands multiple times, and I just didn't buy it. And then the minute it was gone, I was like,
Girl, why didn't you buy that?
it was amazing. It was beautiful colors, and then everybody would just go on and on about how it was like their favorite palette. It was their go-to rainbow palette. It's my ride or die palette. I'm just like, fuck off. Question number 13 is, who on YouTube has the best collection videos? I don't watch a ton of collection videos. I don't necessarily like to watch people just go through and show off what they have in their collection. That's not the kind of content I want to watch. If somebody's doing a declutter, I do like to watch those because then I get to see what's in the collection and I get to hear them talk about what they're deciding to keep or not keep. I prefer those kind of declutters to the ones where people just show you what they have decluttered. Sometimes people do, I think Teresa's Dead did that for the last declutter, is she just showed off like what she was getting rid of. I prefer when they show you their collection, they take you piece by piece. I understand that those are a bitch to edit, and I understand that they can get really long, but I want to see what's in your collection, and then I want to hear you talk about, this is why I'm keeping it, this is why I'm not keeping it, this is why it goes in the maybe pile. That's the thing that I like. So I don't really like collection videos, but if it's more themed or more nuanced, I love Emily Hanhan's videos where she will like create a palette that's inspired by another palette, or during Halloween she did a bunch that were inspired by Halloween movies like Hocus Pocus and The Witches, and so I like that. I love her stuff that she does with those, with her single shadows. I am terrible about using single shadows, and I wish that I could be better, and Emily Hanhan makes me want to be better.
She makes me want to be better.
I also recently really loved Audrey Holmes' video where she talked about and ranked all of her foundations. I don't know why. I'm not a person who usually gets excited about foundations. I have foundations that I love, but there's something about her enthusiasm. I'm going to go ahead and link that video up here. I went on a journey during that video. Let me tell you, I started like live tweeting my experience in her comment section. I was out of control. I don't know if I was just lonely that day or what, but I went on a whole experience. And question number 14 is, what advice would you give to a future makeup collector? So the first piece of advice I would give is don't feel like you have to buy every piece of makeup. I think especially people who are getting into YouTube, people who want to collect makeup and they maybe have a thought of wanting to get on YouTube. And I will tell you this as a small channel that sometimes I feel like there's pressure to buy all of the new hot releases, because if you can get a video up fairly quickly, that's how you get views, that's how you can build an audience. But then that becomes an expectation. That's something that then people expect of you. And I think that you don't have to do it. There's other ways that you can build your content that can be just as interesting. So don't feel like you have to buy everything. Buy things that you love. Makeup should be fun. There are some YouTubers that I watch that used to have so much joy in makeup and in their collections, and now they're just like snarky and snarly about everything. And it's like, why do you even do this anymore? Like, I do this and I play with makeup and I do these videos because I love makeup. I love it and it's fun and I want to talk about it. And yes, sometimes I'll get a little shady and I'll like whatever. But if that's all they're doing is talking trash and shading everything, I'm not interested in that content. That's just not something that I'm looking to consume. So I would definitely say, remember what you love about makeup, focus on that, and don't spend money you don't have. You need lights. You need heat. You need internet. You need a place to live. So if you're paying rent, if you're paying bills, whatever you're doing, take care of the important things. I know that makeup is very tempting, and there's lots of ways that they try to entice you into buying. At the end of the day, you have the debit card, you have the cash in your wallet, you have to make that decision, and so make good decisions for you. That doesn't mean don't play and don't have fun, but don't shop because you feel like you have to. And if you feel like your shopping is out of control, talk to somebody about it. Talk to a licensed medical professional. Not this hooker clown, because clearly I haven't fixed nothing. But talk to somebody and work it out. I am really proud of people who do things like that, who recognize that they have problems.
I don't have a problem. We don't have to talk about it.
But when you do recognize that you have a problem, absolutely take care of it. Don't spend money you don't have, and don't feel that pressure. Anytime you feel pressure, you feel like you have to do something, that sucks the joy. And that's, makeup should be joyful, it should be fun, it should be playtime. So that is the video. That is the makeup collection tag. Let me know down in the comments. What did you think? Did you get any surprises from my answers? Did you think that I would answer things in a different way? What were your answers to the questions? Let me know down below. I love to hear from you. I love to read and respond to comments. So absolutely let me know down below how you're feeling. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down. I'll take the engagement either way. The algorithm's not a picky bitch, and neither am I. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification. While you're down there, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so that you'll get notifications of all future uploads. I upload one video a week, usually on Tuesdays. And occasionally I even have a surprise video for you. Ooh, sensual. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box, including a link to my website, The World of Champagne, at janessajay.com. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and until I see you again, bye. It's my ride or die palette. I'm just like, fuck off. Get fucked, bitch. That was aggressive. We're probably gonna cut that out.
Get fucked, bitch.
Get fucked, bitch. That was too much. I don't know what happened. It made me lose my train of thought. We'll just end it. That's fine.